Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
Welcome to the Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Today, our guest is say, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you, Qasim?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for joining us, and let us know where you live and what you do.
I'm based in Montreal, Canada. I manage two organizations in the textile industry. One is called HeatMax. We specialize in thermal insulation for winter clothing, footwear, gloves, sleeping bags, and so on. And another organization is called Clean Recycling Initiative. We provide technology platforms for cleanly reclaiming textile waste. And when I say cleanly, it contradicts to the conventional plastic recycling, which creates a lot of microplastics and also negative impact on the environment. And with the proprietary patent pending technology platform, we provide solutions for these environmental issues for recycling.
Awesome. So you're working really good for the environment. But can you let me know what was the biggest inspiration behind starting this?
Yeah, when it comes to the textile business that I am operating in the winter textiles, I find a lot of inefficiencies in terms of the how we protect ourselves in cold weather. And when we have these inefficiencies, we consume more textiles and therefore it's harmful for the environment. So, for example, if you protect your body effectively, you can wear fewer pieces or less weight of textiles to protect yourselves in the winter. By making these textile solutions more efficient, not only you're saving the environment, but also you're saving money in terms of the cost, purchase cost, and also the laundry and all of the actions that come after the purchase and your lifestyle in general. So that's a big motivation for me to make these winter goods more efficient for you. And also the other organization, not-for-profit organization, is that we consume a huge amount of textile goods throughout our lives. In fact, there was a report issued by EPA in USA, which reported that a single person on average generates about 30 kilograms of textile waste annually. And that is a huge amount. And each textile piece contains large amount of chemicals, and these chemicals, it leaks into the environment. So for example, when it's buried underground, it leaks and contaminates groundwater, and when we burn it, it releases the toxic chemicals into the air, and it circulates around the world, and it has a lasting impact on the environment. So I wanted to provide a solution for these issues, and we spent a lot of time and effort to develop ways to cleanly recycle and reclaim textile waste from all sources, meaning the post-consumption from households and workplaces, as well as the textile manufacturing processes where large amount of waste is created right off the cutting and the sewing process.
Makes sense. Well, you're working pretty well, and you're working for a cause. That's great. Awesome. So I believe in this business. Like I learned many things in just few minutes. I learned many things out of your conversation. But are you running any awareness campaign, or like how you are spreading the awareness? What's your process of spreading awareness?
Great question. Thank you for posing that question, because that has been always in my mind, because the knowledge that I have is something that serves me throughout my lifetime. But also, I feel it's really important that I share this with others. And for one, two organizations that I mentioned, we launched a campaign called Be Green Heroes. And I actually published a book under the same title that educate the general public about these environmental issues. And it covers from the fast fashion or plastics and all these subjects that a lot of people have the misperception. So that is one avenue that I have taken. And also we organize international sustainability marketing competition annually. And last year, in 2024, we had more than 120 countries participating in this contest. Now, we have been offering this competition to university students until 2024, and we are working to open this for the general public as well as high school students, because we all consume a lot of textile waste and create the waste from it. So that's another avenue that we are seeking. We also look for many industry partners to work with us to raise the awareness on these important issues.
What type of industry partners you are looking for who can play their role in this case?
Yes, great question. Thank you. The education is a key. So, for example, if I give you my perspective on the sustainability aspect between natural fibers and synthetic fibers, and the fact that synthetic fibers have been vilified over many, many years now, especially with the focus by the public on the sustainability, this to me is a wrong direction that has been taken by not only private organizations in the industry by itself, but also government organizations or crown or corporations which promote the sustainability based on general notions and unscientific information about the environmental impact. For example, when people promote natural fibers for sustainability, people do not consider the large quantities of pesticides, which are actually the causes for the death of a lot of cotton farming communities around the world. And these pesticides do not remain only in the cotton farming communities. It gets airborne and then it floats around the world. It contaminates the whole world through the airstream, water streams too. And not only that, if you actually look at the impact of replacing synthetic fibers with natural fibers like cotton, you may not be aware, but the cotton grows in some of the most agriculturally proliferating farmlands. And in order to replace the synthetic fibers with cotton, we would have to increase the farmland by 3 to 5 times from the current state. And already as is, we have 1 in 9 people without enough food around the world. And that is not what I say. This is according to the report by WHO. So if we were to really replace the farmlands that are growing other crops with cotton, it will aggravate the food security issues, not only for those who are already suffering with the food shortages, but also probably you and me, and perhaps 30-40% of the people in the global population. This will provoke wars and all kinds of issues. So there are many unscientific and also unsocialistic aspect that is involved in these claims. So when I discuss these matters with most people, they are shocked with the perspectives that they have not considered in these aspects. And this is just one example. The explosive growth in the world population has been largely supported by the conservation of food, aided by the plastics that we use. Although plastics have been vilified by many organizations, even within the textile industry, they have contributed enormously for the global societies over the last few decades. If we were to remove it, like many environmental activists claim that we do, it will create a catastrophic outcome in the way we live. So I am trying to disseminate this type of information for the better education and the better actions for the environment, not just based on the general notions or unscientific information.
Well, yeah, this completely makes sense. And in this case, I believe I'm not sure if you do have some competitors or not, because this looks more like a market penetration. I'm not sure, because there are many industries, there are many companies who are trying to save the world, and they are collecting the plastic and trying to clean it, at least to extract it from the industry. But I'm not sure how they are disposing it. But Yeah, in your case, this is pretty different. Do you think you do have some competitors as well? And if you have competitors, then what is the biggest differentiator from the competitors?
Competitors. Now, I have a slightly different perspective on that subject. This is important for everyone, not just for my company. And therefore, I do not consider companies that are in the same field as competitors. In fact, this is the reason why founded the Clean Recycling Initiative as a nonprofit organization. And even those companies that are in the same space as my company can use this technology platform free of charge. And we will provide the technical support to be able to help them to reclaim their textile waste during the processing in a clean and environmentally friendly way.
In the whole world or in some specific areas?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. In fact, if you look at the household perspectives and the post-consumption perspectives, every household can utilize this technology platform.
Yeah, but you are sharing this technology with, like, as you said, like you are welcoming everybody else. If someone wants to use your technology, you are good to share with them. So you are offering it with anybody in the world, or do you have some specific locations where you can only give this technology?
In fact, yes, we're offering it to anyone who wants to utilize it. There's some level of involvement required from the government and private organizations. And we work with them to get these technologies implemented. And we will need different technology, different strategies for the post-consumption waste versus process waste. Now, the process waste, it's much easier and simpler to implement it because all these textile waste is in a clean state and we can concentrate on segregating them according to the standards that we established. And when it comes to post consumption, it becomes much more complex because we have to establish the collection system by working with the local governments. And also processing requires more tedious work because we have to separate the fabrics into the right material categories and process them. So there are different levels of implications and strategies, and we work with the different parties to implement.
All right, makes sense. So, in terms of your short-term goals, what you are thinking about, like what clean recycling is thinking about?
So, in the short term, like I said, we focus on industry implications first. So we can go to the factories where these goods are made. We can work with the brand offices. They have many manufacturing partners, whether they own it or contract it out. We go to their manufacturing facilities and get the waste from the processing, collect them, and we either help them process it in their own facilities, or we can bring the waste into our facilities and process them. And then we can even return the processed material that is in the thermal insulation form factors to the factories or brands.
Yeah, well, that's great. Awesome. Say, obviously, marketing is one of the important thing that is attached with every business, even if it is a non-profit organization or any type of business. So, in terms of your business, do you do the marketing, online marketing, or the offline marketing for your business, or you're just relying on the word of mouth?
We do marketing. We use social media platforms, and also we have various means to communicate with both consumers and the B2B business.
Awesome. So, in terms of your success of your business, what do you think? How do you measure the success? Obviously, the success in your case is not relying on the revenue or the profit margins. So, how you are defining the success for your company and how you are measuring it?
So when it comes to business models and the success measures that I consider is one, a heat max business, which is for profit business. We have other metrics that most companies use, like the return on investment and profit margins and so on and so forth. When it comes to for the not-for-profit business, we measure ourselves for the message that we can deliver to the public and how many people do we reach out to and how many people take their actions to become green heroes in their own communities. And those are the metrics that I implement to measure the success of my businesses.
Awesome. The impact on the community. Well, that's great. Awesome. So, can you please give us the biggest piece of advice? Our viewers are mostly the entrepreneurs and the ones who are going to start their own business.
Right. Once again, coming from two businesses that I'm running, the winter warmth and protecting yourself is far more important than a lot of people think, and we need to do it effectively to protect yourselves adequately and also reduce the burden on the environment. So the understanding good technologies and then implementing it in your strategies for winter textiles is very important. And in fact, I'm publishing my second book that talks about the efficient ways of dressing yourselves for the cold winter. And the second part of the textile waste and what we need to do, this is such an important subject for everybody, not those in the cold environment only. It's for everyone around the world. And we need to educate ourselves with the accurate and science-based information. And it may be far from what you generally believe. And for this, I published the book, as I mentioned, The Be Green Heroes. It's available on Amazon, and it's available in all Amazon platforms of 9 countries. So you can obtain the book and educate yourselves for better environment.
Well, that's great and a beautiful advice as well. And I will try your book for sure. So at the end, can you please let our viewers know how they can reach you if someone wants to? You can share your website or the social media, whatever you want to share.
Sure. The website address of my Clean Recycling Initiative is cleanrecyclinginitiative.com. And there you will see the contact me option. And so you can send us a message, or I'm on LinkedIn, SAECHANG. I'm based in Montreal. I'm the only Chang in Montreal, so they can find me.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you, Say. It was really nice conversation. I learned a lot of things for the very first time about this industry, and I enjoyed the conversation. Well, thank you. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Good luck, Qasim. Thank you for the opportunity.